The Grenlec Debates. Power, bright ideas.
Welcome to the 2024 edition of the Grenlec Debates. I am your host, Kunta Kinte Andal, back with you for yet another exciting season. Please bear in mind that matches, topics, and positions are randomly selected. Also note, these debates are being done in an impromptu format. The students will be developing their arguments right here, today. The theme for the preliminary round is renewable energy sources. The areas of focus are types of renewable energy, advantages and disadvantages of renewable energy sources, and technological developments in the field of renewable energy. These are highlights of the preliminary matches. This match is between Grenada SDA Comprehensive and J.W. Fletcher Catholic Secondary. The motion is, be it resolved that solar energy is the most viable renewable energy option for the Caribbean.
My team and I stand completely in support of the moot. Be it resolved that solar energy is the most viable energy source for the Caribbean. As first speaker, I will define key terms and raise relevant points for this moot. My second speaker will further solidify our stance. In sunny places like the Caribbean, solar power is providing electricity to the grid as cheaply as conventional coal or gas-fired power plants. Also, Grenlec has already started implementing the use of solar energy with solar plants in Carriacou, Queen's Park St. George, and Plain St. Patrick.
Esteemed judges, we strongly believe that solar energy is heavily dependent on weather and daylight hours because, according to Earth.org, solar energy is very dependent on weather and daylight hours, making it just as unreliable without expensive storage solutions and just all around very inflexible and inconvenient. My worthy opponents, what will happen when the rainy season starts again and rain comes for weeks at a time and battery in these solar panels give out what will become of me? Am I to be left in darkness? My opponents, think of your families. One of the biggest renewable energy plants was in Carriacou. What happened on the 1st of July? Destroyed. What if another natural disaster were to come? What will happen to these solar panels? My worthy opponents, these things are unreliable. That is why we believe that solar energy is not a viable option for the Caribbean.
Solar energy is the most abundant energy and can even be harnessed in cloudy weather. And in the Caribbean, it is particularly abundant as a majority of weather is sunny. This means that we will not struggle for a lack of solar energy. Solar energy is cost effective, as solar panels can aid in the reduction of electricity bills and save money. Solar panels are also known for their versatility, as they can be installed and used in a variety of different locations and can range in different sizes. Another pro of solar energy is that solar panels are highly low maintenance and minimal upkeep after installation. Solar energy is also clean energy, which means that it does not release any greenhouse gases, which can lead to detrimental effects on wildlife habitat and human health. Implementing solar energy will not only help our environment and reduce climate change, but it can also play a role in public health and reducing respiratory disease such as asthma.
Solar power is highly dependent on weather conditions and daylight hours. In Grenada, the variation in solar energy availability throughout the day and year could lead to periods of insufficient power generation, according to Irena.com. This intermittency necessitates reliable energy storage solutions, which can be expensive and technologically challenging for a small nation. Although the cost of solar technology has decreased, the initial investment for purchasing and installing solar panels, inverters, and storage systems can be still high. especially for a small island nation like Grenada with limited financial issues, according to World Bank Energy Report. The upfront costs may pose significant barriers, particularly when compared to other renewable energy options with potentially lower initial expenses. In addition, solar power installations require a significant amount of space for optimal energy generation, according to geographicorganization.com. In densely populated or limited land areas, solar energy is not well suitable to provide consistent power to meet energy needs.
My worthy opponents, according to cleanerenergy.com, fossil fuel energy is estimated to run out by 2090. What do you as the opposition propose that we use as a source of energy when this time comes?
My worthy opponent, by what year?
2090?
2090.
Yes.
My worthy opponent, we will be long dead by that time.
Oh, so
there is no need to worry about that right now.
Oh, so my opponent, what you're trying to say is, so we want a viable life source for ourselves, but we do not care about the future generations.
No, my worthy opponent, I'm not saying that.
But that's what you said. We will be long dead by that time.
My worthy opponent, do not put words in my mouth, my worthy opponent.
Okay.
Look at our sister isle, Carriacou, the biggest solar panel plants in the Tri-Island state, destroyed on the 1st of July 2024 by the notorious Hurricane Beryl.
It was also stated that the panels being destroyed by Hurricane Beryl in Carriacou prove that it is unreliable. But the solar panel plant was not yet completed, which proved that if finished, it could have been able to withstand the hurricane and provide energy for our island. Your second speaker also stated that initial startup costs are high, but it is in the long term, it will be cheaper and will last longer.
And the winner is J.W. Fletcher, Catholic Secondary. This match is between MacDonald College and Westerhall Secondary School. The motion is, be it resolved that the Caribbean should focus on transitioning to electric transportation so as to reduce fossil fuel use.
My team and I stand in full support with the resolution, be it resolved, that the Caribbean should focus on transitioning to electric transportation to reduce fossil fuel use. Members of the audience, the resolution today is simply saying that the Caribbean should prioritize moving towards electric transportation to cut down on the use of fossil fuels. As first speaker, I will present uncontestable proof to why we should transition to electric transport to reduce fossil fuel use, because it is safer for the environment. To commence, because of the effects of fossil fuels, climate change is becoming worse. For example, Hurricane Beryl, which was a Category 4 hurricane, devastating our islands. So, Mr. Chair, if we transition to electric transportation, we would be reducing the effects of climate change to our islands.
I stand before you here, privileged to engage you in a friendly discourse on this most controversial issue. Firstly, there will not be enough money in the Caribbean to make all these new changes, because the Caribbean is a less fortunate part of the world. So taking all this money from the underprivileged is wrong. It's not ideal as well, and that is why we, the opposition, disagree with the meet.
Ladies and gentlemen, if we transition into using electric vehicles, we directly are saving our money to use for other things in our economies in the Caribbean region. Gas and fossil fuel imports cost us, our Caribbean countries, millions annually. If we transition into using electric transportation methods, we will spend less money on gas imports, as there will be less need for these fossil fuels. Using electric transportation also benefits our environment and ecosystem, helping to combat climate change and global warming. Additionally, if we transition, less gas imports mean less money wasting for the whole Caribbean from importing fossil fuels from other international countries. It also allows us to use this money to develop our region's own renewable energy infrastructures and technologies. Audience, aren't you seeing my vision? Aren't you seeing the benefits that switching to electric transportation provides? As I stated, this is why we should switch to electric transport, because it will help us use less money on fuel imports, which can help us use the extra money on enhancing our renewable resource technological capabilities.
The Caribbean is filled with numerous of people. According to Dr. Arthur MacDonald, and I quote, "Most of the Caribbean is facing poverty," end of quote. Most countries like Grenada, our home, are in a detrimental amount of debt. We are already in debt. How much money are we really allowed? It will be very expensive to create and get parts for these cars for the whole island, as well as it will be expensive for the citizens of Grenada to purchase. As also, are there really people in Grenada specialized in these cars? Grenada will need to bring in people who are specialized to service these cars. These cars are just not reliable. For example, imagine you're going on the road and your car breaks down, your car is dead. There will not be a lot of chargers around because we are not accustomed to this. Even if there is a charger, you will need to take hours for your car to fully charge or to get to a good percent. Whereas with gas, you can go, put gas in your car, and you're off. After hearing all these points presented by my team, there is no way that you can agree with what my opponents are saying.
Isn't gasoline prices going up at the moment?
Yes, but it's not as expensive
Yes,
as electric
but
cars.
over time, we will run out of fossil fuels. How would we make up for that? If we run out of fossil fuels, how would we power these gasoline cars?
Over time, wouldn't we also run out of charging ports or charge in our vehicles?
How?
Our vehicles wouldn't run out of charge?
My worry opponent, there are going to be charging ports placed around the island, and if you own an electric vehicle, obviously you would leave your vehicle to charge overnight if you know you have to make large errands the next day.
Are you going to fund these charging ports?
My worry opponent, the government is already making headways. We have to, it's not a matter of if we're going to fund it. Over time, fossil fuels are going to run out, so we are going to need these cars. What are we going to use if we don't have electric cars when fossil fuels run out?
Does Grenada have the skilled workers to take care of an electric vehicle? Because if a part in my electric vehicle breaks down, do we have workers to go into my vehicle and really know and give me the proper parts and the proper skillful information for me to fix my vehicle? I do not think so.
Our opponent's second speaker proceeded to claim that the majority of the Caribbean is living in poverty. However, as I stated before, we are not a poor region. We need to step out of this mentality if we want to make a change. We are a place of many riches. Our opponent also seems to hold a lot of their focus onto Grenada. But I must remind them that we are referring to the Caribbean that is filled with many beautiful islands.
And the winner is MacDonald College. This match is between Happy Hill Secondary School and St. Joseph's Convent, Grenville. The motion is, be it resolved, that solar energy should be mandated for all new buildings in Grenada.
We are gathered here today to discuss an issue of great significance. Be it resolved that solar energy should be mandated for all new buildings in Grenada. As the proposition team, we firmly believe that the solar energy should indeed be mandated for all new buildings in Grenada. The use of solar energy reduces electricity bills depending on the size of solar systems and your electricity and heat usage. Also, you can earn money from the surplus energy exported back to the grid. New businesses that are just starting can make more profit by the use of solar energy because they wouldn't have to spend so much money on electricity. And we don't know Grenadians cheap. Don't you believe the use of solar energy will be beneficial in this instance? Furthermore, the use of solar energy is available anywhere and every day. Unlike electricity that can cut off anytime and at any moment, renewable energy sources like solar energy never runs out, and if it ever do, it will be in almost 25 to 40 years.
Don't be manipulated by my opponent's profound claims. I, the first speaker of the opposition, along with my colleagues, not only disagree with the moot, but also firmly and evidently stand against it. The weather is not always on our side. What if it's a rainy or stormy day? The panels will not have enough to charge function, leaving many without electricity. And my opponents, do you really think all buildings, including houses? This also connects to economic downfall, as there are over 126,000 people inhabiting Grenada at the moment. And many people would try to take advantage, don't you think, wanting more? Don't we run fine just using fossil fuels?
Operational and maintenance costs are low. Keep Clean and Clean Reliable manufacturers usually have 20 to 25 years warranty, local maintenance costs. This also means there would be minimal upkeep required post the installation. And, I mean, who really likes having to fix something all the time? Because I know definitely not me. Due to it being low maintenance, the affordability of solar panels would be cost effective. Secondly, the growth of renewable energy sector provides educational and training opportunities for future generations, fostering a skilled workforce in green technologies. For example, if everyone is well educated in Grenada on solar energy, implementing them on newer buildings, this would be a huge advantage on them while learning new skills because it provides jobs and an income.
While you can save money using renewable energy, setting up a solar array is costly and there are expenses involved with energy storage. Also, with solar panels, there are limits to battery storage and they would have to be replaced frequently over a period of time. Because of the intermittency of some renewable sources, there is a high need for energy storage. Storage technologies are available but can be very expensive, especially for large-scale solar energy plants needed to run government buildings. Secondly, the solar panels can take up more land than some other types of renewable energy, and performance depends on the availability of sunlight. Furthermore, the mining and processing of minerals needed to make the panels can pollute and damage the environment, adding to the greenhouse gases released into the atmosphere.
Today, I stand before you to address the arguments presented by the opposing side. While they have made some compelling points, I will demonstrate that their claims are flawed and based on misunderstandings or incomplete information. Your first speaker stated that because of rain and a stormy day, it will not function properly, but there are batteries which are used to store energy. Your second speaker stated that solar energy takes up more land. Doesn't the solar panels go on the roof? She also stated that energy sources are more expensive. What do you mean? Are we paying the sun to shine?
And the winner is Happy Hill Secondary School. This match is between Grenville Secondary and Beacon High School. The motion is, be it resolved that hydropower from rivers and other freshwater sources should play a larger role in energy generation in the Caribbean.
Today, I have the honor of debating under the topic renewable resources. Under the mute, be it resolved that hydropower from rivers and other freshwater sources should play a larger role in energy generation in the Caribbean. My team and I stand in unwavering agreement with the mute. Hydropower is energy which is created by the movement of falling or flowing water. Energy is the ability to do work. Generation is to create or produce something, all according to Oxford.com. My worthy opponents, members of the audience, let's dive into my first point. Why should we use hydropower? Caribbean countries are not only surrounded by the ocean, but also have a vast majority of rivers, lakes, and springs. But not that only. Switching to hydropower would be very easy because it is really easy to use springs. We use it for bottled water and many different things. All we need is basically just a hydro pump. We can even use just a turning wheel just to make the electricity as they used to do back in the day.
Hydropower energy has intermittency issues. Renewables like hydropower energy are not always reliable as they depend on weather conditions. Without advancements in energy storage technologies, energy supplies can be inconsistent, posing a risk to grid stability. Hydropower is not reliable because lots of rivers and lakes are drying up because of climate change. Hydropower has a high initial cost. Research shows that the development and installation of renewable energy infrastructure, such as hydropower, require high initial investments. Developing countries such as Grenada, Jamaica, and TNT find it difficult to afford these technologies, widening global energy gaps.
By choosing hydropower, we'll have healthier air and soil, reducing greenhouse emissions and other polluting substances. This will improve public health and people will have healthier lives and additionally having healthier population will cause significant reduction in the health budget.
My worthy opponents, if hydropower is generated by converting kinetic energy from water, which is a major source of human and plant life, how isn't it already a major role in energy generation?
Simply because of the availability of solar energy, it is much more efficient in terms of gathering and its availability. For throughout the year, sunshine is mostly available, whereas there can be droughts and other causes for water shortages.
My worthy opponents, don't you feel bad? If, for example, we do permanently switch to hydropower energy, don't you think that it will affect our ocean life? Or are you only self-centered and only focused on yourself? To further prove my point, an article from the Organization of the American States says, hydropower initiatives in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Although hydropower can be a viable option in the region, specific projects have stalled due to environmental concerns over and rights can impede progress, resulting in local resistance.
Madam Chair, worthy judges, our opponents have tried to twat your minds, but I am convinced that you are wise enough not to be misled by their statements. Dear opponents, you have argued that hydropower is not reliable because heavy water could damage batteries. But heavy water, you can create more energy with a significant reduction in the budget the government and the people have to set aside each year. Also, the batteries are not kept anywhere close to the water. You spoke about the price. We can simply start from water wheels. Everything starts small. Look at our own lovely island.
And the winner is Grenville Secondary. Thank you for joining us. This has been part 1 of the preliminary round highlights. Please stay tuned for part 2.
The Grenlec Debates. Power, bright ideas.
The Grenlec Debates will be broadcast on MTV Monday and Thursday at 9 p.m. and on Saturday at 6 p.m. and on GBN TV Tuesday and Thursday at 6 p.m. and on Sunday at 4 p.m.
Tune in